Well, hello, and welcome to, I think we're looking at unit, I think I'm calling it 6.1. I'm sorry, 5.1. And the reason we're doing that is I hope that you are aware that next week is spring break. So that's always good news. So you see this little guy right here behind my shoulder. I'm thinking that this might become a normal thing. If you remember from Seinfeld, my wife and I have been watching this show on the Crackle Network. I don't know if you know about that, but it's called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. And basically it's just Seinfeld driving around and getting coffee with a bunch of comedians. And it's pretty kind of dry, but it's really fun to watch. And so if you remember from Seinfeld, he always had Superman in all the scenes. So I'm going to have this little guy in all these scenes of my videos. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I've been thinking about our class, and we've had some health concerns, some health issues, some setbacks, some recoveries, all those different things that come with life really in general. And so I was thinking about, and this is kind of becoming even more of an independent study than I think we had thought it was going to be, and I'm actually okay with that. One of the things that I find so important, so vital about this program is, we've talked about this before, but this reality that it's not, I know that you're not going to use this on a full-time basis more than likely, but you'll at least now have, I think of it, in your backpack. You've got one more tool in your backpack that you can make use of when you're working with clients. So we have still a lot to cover. This week is, it's interesting because if you look in the forums, it's not actually as much as we've done in some of the weeks. So when you're pulling that up, you obviously have your, let's see, so 5.1, you have your forum discussion, okay, and you have your case study, and then you have your third LipTAC 321 response. But here again, obviously the time frames, the timelines, they all still apply, so make sure that you're doing things in line with that. But really, as you think about it, because you have next week off for spring break, you've got a total of 3 weeks to get this content done. So here's what I want to encourage you to do, to think about doing, is getting caught up. So, I got an email, and let's see, Tarina, I think it was from, and you said, am I good? So yeah, I think you are good, but I want you just to double and then triple check to make sure that everything is caught up, okay? So whether it's papers or anything, I want you to be able to get everything done. So spend this week, next week, the week after, completing obviously the forum, the LipTAC 321, the case study, but also get caught up on these papers, okay? So I want you to have these experiences and all of the different assignments and everything. If you're behind, if you're on, on course, great. If not, take some time and get caught up. I want you to still get full credit on your assignments, okay? So obviously there's more to learning than just, the grade, okay? I get it. That makes sense. But I also want us to consider the fact that we've got some, we've got some learning that's going to take place in assignments, and in order to do the learning, get the learning accomplished, you need to actually do the assignment, okay? So if you have questions on that, email, and we'll figure that out, okay? A couple of reminders for us. We do have, at the end of Unit 6, which is not until April 2nd, so we still have plenty of time if you look at the schedule, because you've got those 2 weeks, but April 2nd, when the unit is over, the 6th unit, is the vocation call and response paper, okay? So right now we're halfway through the semester, which is exciting, and so we're going to get caught up and make sure that everything is completed before we come back from, the end of this unit. But then from here on out, if the other assignments are completed on time, then they're not going to be accepted. So this is kind of our reset time if need be. So you're going to work towards getting everything done, okay? So we do have a unique forum, which you'll look in the forum assignments for this, I was going to say week, but really for this unit. And what I want you to remember, as I'm pulling up my forum, so we're looking at Forum 5 discussion. Here's what I'm asking for you to do. I'm asking for you to find 3 artifacts, okay, so similar to what we've already even seen in some respects, and share them here. So either by way of attachment or URL. They don't have to necessarily have direct connection to career development, but you should be able to make an easy explanation and connection to the field and study of career development theories and techniques, okay? Think creatively, think innovatively, think outside the box when you're considering what you'd like to share with the class, okay? Provide a brief paragraph or so description of why you found each artifact to be insightful and how you specifically see it connecting to the field and study of career development and counseling. Okay. Additionally, discuss any connections to the career counseling process that we're looking at, as discussed in Chapter 8 of the Anderson and Van de Heet text. Okay. What I also want you to do is I want you to talk about the one technique that you find yourself most closely identifying with. Okay. What is the one technique that you think you would find yourself using most frequently? Why is that? What from your past experience in education might have an effect on your choosing this specific technique? What does your technique of choice contain that you feel the other techniques discussed lack? Okay. And then, as always, what else do you have to share regarding the weekly readings and or any other thoughts, concerns, takeaways from what you've considered during this unit? Okay. So we're really kind of not necessarily, although on one of the chapters we are, but not on all of the chapters are we responding to some of the reading. Okay, so you're reading Anderson and Van de Heet chapters 8 and 9. So you're looking at the career counseling process and then the career counseling techniques. So based upon your reading, which of these techniques would you say I most closely identify with? And here's the reason that I'm asking that question. Okay, so one of the things that I hear from students a lot in this class, and by no means is it a bad question. I think it's a great question. Similar to the question that was even asked at the beginning of our time together of, why am we taking this? I mean, this seems like such a kind of a one-off course from the main content of the program. And sometimes folks don't like the emancipatory communitarian approach, the ECA. So folks just don't like it. They don't agree with it. They don't think it's valuable, whatever it is, So why do I have to know about this? Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Obviously, I'm not sitting in all of your classes, but I'm going to bet. I'm going to bet quite strongly, actually, that that you don't like everything that you've learned in this program. In fact, I'm going to go on a limb and say that you don't like everything that you learned in your undergraduate program or your education. But you still have to know about it, right? You still have to take these classes. This is kind of the equivalent of, I guess you could even look at it in a very crass, kind of rough way, general education, right? So I look now at general education from my vantage point as a professor. And I tell students, I say, you may not see the value in general education coursework requirements, but I got to tell you, I wish that I had a viewpoint and a perspective to see that there was an amazing wealth of information and knowledge that I should have been pursuing in all of my class. I mean, I think about my class on Judaism and learning about this different culture and religion that I would have, even from an apologetic standpoint, for me to know this stuff would have been fantastic to understand. And I kind of just skated through. I think I took a biomedical ethics class. And I wish that I'd spent more time on biomedical ethics, especially in our current climate with all of these discussions going on, whether it's stem cell research, or even as it relates to artificial intelligence and embryonic, as we're creating babies without the different sorts of eggs and sperm, and how are we, all these things. I wish I had paid more attention to that. So here we go in this program, in this course specifically, and I've heard from you, so this is actually encouraging, that you enjoy the reading, you feel the books are accessible, that you're liking what you're learning, they're easy to read, they're fun, they're easy to remember what's going on. So cognitively, they're working the brain, but they're also retaining the information, which is encouraging. So, but here's the thing. My concern is not, first of all, that you love the content. Okay, you could take it or leave it, right? I definitely am not even really concerned that you like the content. What I am concerned about, and what I am required to do in our program for you, the student, is to make sure that you have learned the content. That's what my job is. So, do you love it? No? Great, fine. Do you like it? Not really. Do you know it? And here's what's going to happen. This is what I love that happens all the time when it comes to education. We think we at least in my mind, and I think I've talked to a number of people where it's happened to them as well, so I'm pretty sure it's kind of a regular occurrence. You think that you're learning something, you're like, no big deal, not an important thing. So you kind of write it off, but it's still, hanging out back here in the back of your brain. A couple weeks, couple months, couple years go past, and now all of a sudden you're stumped, and you've got this issue at hand. Well, guess what? Now I remember that one theory, or in our case this week, this unit, I remember that one technique. and you go back to the book, which I hope you're going to hold on to, and you go, this is it. This is the perfect technique to address the situation with this client. And maybe that's the one key factor that helps to push them over the edge. So I think we need to think about it in those ways. So as you're reading these chapters, think about that. What's the one technique that you say that you would most identify with? So what's the one that you kind of your go-to? So I have a friend that went through his MFT program, actually teaches I think it's in our undergrad psychology course, and he works on campus now. He was in private practice for quite some time. So he now, when he still does private practice, in addition to his full-time work and his teaching, but he would, his kind of area of specialization is psychotherapy, because that's what he does. Well, there's others that may do other forms. So, well, I can't remember the EDMR, the eye movement technique that's used in therapy. So you each have your own unique approaches, I'm sure, to the therapy and the work that you do. You each have your own unique niches within which you work. And so those are important because that's what you're known for. But even though you may be known for one or two or maybe three specific areas of expertise in which you work, it's still important that you know about the rest of them, because you may have a client that's a harder client to work with, that the go-tos that you're usually using aren't always the most effective or beneficial for that specific situation. And perhaps this others that you know about may come into play. But right now what I'm asking for you is to think about the one that you would say, I most identify with this one, and then tell me why that is. Okay? So you got your case study number 3, case study number 7, and then your LipTac 321 response number 3. Okay, so lots of great content to read. I'm excited to continue to read your responses. If I can help in any way, please let me know. And remember that you do have your vocation and calling response paper due at the end of week 6, so you'll still have plenty of time to get your reading complete, and then on April 2nd, that's when that paper is due. Okay, so if you're behind on anything, now is the time to get caught up this week and over spring break, so that you can kind of just dive back in the second part of Unit 5, and then if we need to reset, we can completely and totally get everything done on time, on target, starting with Unit 6. All right. If I can help with anything, any questions, concerns, anything else, let me know. I'm happy to do so. Hope you're having a great week. I just once again want to reiterate that I'm here to support you in any way that I can. So if you need anything, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to provide those services to you. All right. So have a great weekend, and I look forward to continuing to read the responses that you write up. And as always, I will see you online.